What if I tell you you can actually influence the universe in real life? So in Elder Scrolls lore, there is a concept called CHIM. And what is CHIM? CHIM basically means that the world of Elder Scrolls is not real. That it's all just a dream. And let me explain something called the Godhead. So in Elder Scrolls universe, you have gods, you have the Aedra and the Daedra. But they're not the real gods. The real god is called the Godhead. And the whole universe of Elder Scrolls is inside the Godhead. Everything from the characters to like the houses, the nature, everything, even the realms of the Daedra, exist all inside the Godhead. And the Godhead is not conscious like the gods, the Aedra or the Daedra. But the Godhead is actually asleep. And he's dreaming about everything. All the gods, the people, time, and even history itself, all part of his dream. A good example of this, imagine at night you sleep and you dream about a world of fantasy, and everything in there is just part of you. Even the characters who think they are their own person are just part of your dream. And in Elder Scrolls lore, there are two concepts I want to explain to you. The first one is zero sum and the second is CHIM. What is zero summing? Imagine you're sleeping and you're dreaming about this world, right? And there are two options. Either you realize it's a dream and you wake up, or you realize it's a dream and you become a lucid dreamer. Zero sum is basically waking up. You realize it's a dream, and what happens is you realize you're just part of the Godhead. You, as a person, don't really exist. The I ceases to exist and collapses. And this results a crisis inside the personality, inside the character itself, and the whole character disappears completely from the Elder Scrolls reality. They basically wake up and return to the Godhead. The other option is you dream at night and you realize it's a dream and you stay in the dream and you become a lucid dreamer. In Elder Scrolls, this is called CHIM. Basically, the character realizes the world is a dream, but they refuse to give up on their own individuality. So they hold two ideas at once. The first idea is that the world is a dream and I still exist as myself. These are contradictions, but the characters who can basically have both of these at the same time achieve CHIM, and they become a god. The result of this is basically lucid dreaming. They influence reality itself and they can do anything. And they become like a god, even more powerful than the Daedra and the Aedra themselves. Characters who have achieved this is Vivek, Tiber Septim, who later becomes Talos, and Manka Cameron also tried it, but failed. So let me explain to you how this could actually be real, and how this could actually work in real life. This is just a theory, but I'm gonna list some things that actually exist in the real world, and then you can make up your own mind if you want to believe in it or not. So first, let me tell you about the monad. So some people think that the true God is not like the Christian God, but there's another God, and that's the whole universe itself. The concept is very similar to the Godhead. Basically everything, like from people to like objects to matter itself to history and time, are all just part of the monad. And we, as like characters, we are just split personalities of the monad. And you can see the concept of the monad is very similar to the concept of the Godhead. And the monad itself is not like a conscious being, it's an unconscious God. A conscious God that basically dreams up the world. And we're just split personalities in this being's consciousness, in this being's dream. Let me present another fact. I'm gonna present a lot of facts, and then after that I'm gonna present my theory. So another fact is that humans can influence random systems. So machine generated random numbers, if you focus and have an intention, you can actually influence the outcome. And this is real, this is actually an observed effect. So here the randomness shifts slightly from pure chance if you have an intention. Like for example, let's say you flip a coin and the outcome should be 50-50, right? But if you actually have an intention, you can slightly change the outcome and put it in your favor. And this happens not only with machine generated random numbers, but it also happens like with, for example, coin flips. So you can see that the human brain has some influence on randomness in this universe. Let me also introduce another concept, and this concept is called conditioning. So basically what conditioning is, the brain links events through repetition. So expectations become automatic responses. So how the process works is basically you have an experience. From this experience, you make a prediction, and this becomes your behavior. Examples are kind of like placebo pills. For example, your doctor prescribes you a pill, and this pill is made just of sugar, but it still has an effect. It can still change something in your body, just because you expect it to have an outcome, to have an effect. Or for example, the fear learned from bad experiences, or like habits formed through rewards. Kind of like if you train your dog, and you give them treats to do certain things, this is also called conditioning. And then let me also introduce you the last thing. Memory is not fixed. So memory rebuilds every time we actually recall it in our brain. So it's kind of like not replayed like a recording. It's basically every time you open it up again, it changes slightly. And here's how errors can appear. So imagination kind of like fills gaps. If you can't really see a car, what color this car is, your brain makes up a color in your head and you think it actually happened. You think the car is actually that color. Emotions basically alter details. If you have strong emotions tied to memories, they're gonna change your memories. And repetition locks in changes. So if you constantly like remember something wrong, eventually you're 100% convinced it's actually happened that way. So good examples of this is kind of like, imagine something happened, like a crime occurred, and then everybody who saw the crime reports something differently. They all like report the person who did it looks differently, or the car they used to get away has a different color. So how do these theories actually come together, and how do they connect to CHIM? So my theory is that the monad is real, and we also live inside a godhead type of being. And very much like in Elder Scrolls, the world is also a dream. And you can see that we can actually influence this dream, just like Elder Scrolls characters can influence this dream with things like this. So just by having an intention, just by focusing on things, we can actually change the outcome. This is some sort of quantum effect. I don't understand it fully myself, but this is not the only example. There's other examples just like this, where just having an observer and this observer having an intention can influence the system. So how can we actually use that and achieve CHIM out of that fact that we live inside the Godhead and we can actually influence this dream that we live in? So my theory is that we can actually influence it with conditioning. So basically conditioning uses experiences, and from these experiences we predict something and this becomes our behavior. So we already talked about how randomness can be influenced by our brain by having an attention, but this changes only like very slightly, right? How can we put it like 100%? How can we like influence this random system 100% of the times? And I think we can influence it with conditioning. And basically, if we condition ourselves to like make use of this effect, we can train ourselves to use it 100%. This is my theory, basically. Condition ourselves to make use of our power to basically control the dream. And how can we do that? We can do that by actually changing our memories. Why? Because I already talked about how easy it is for us as humans to change our own memories. Basically, people remember things wrong all the time. And here, imagination, emotion, and repetition are the tools how you can actually change your memories quite easily. And what happens if you can actually change your memories by, for example, remembering things wrong? You can build a fake conditioning in yourself. You can, for example, misremember that you can actually control the system. And you can build a bunch of fake memories over years that you can actually control the system. And this builds a fake conditioning inside yourself. And then my idea is that this is how we can actually influence the dream. In Elder Scrolls, it is rather hard to actually achieve a CHIM. There's only 2 people who can ever do it. And the explanation on how you can do it is rather complicated, right? So the way I think we can actually do that in real life is with conditioning, because we can actually influence, our mind can actually influence the universe, as seen in this, how we can actually influence random systems. And the way we can actually make this effect even more strong and make it work 100% of the time and not just slightly is with conditioning. And the way we can condition ourselves is by actually changing our memories and using imagination, emotions, and repetition to create fake memories that we can actually alter reality, and that what we imagine, what we want to happen, always has happened before. And if you do that long enough, we build a fake conditioning, and with this fake conditioning, we can actually influence random systems. This is my theory. I'm not saying this is 100% true, but this is how I think we can actually influence the universe in real life. This is how we can actually achieve CHIM in real life. What do you think about this theory? I'm completely open to both negative and positive comments. I want to hear your own ideas, because this is just a theory, right? And a theory without a theory is basically not flawless, right? So I want to hear both positive and negative feedback. So please post it in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this. See you in the next video. Bye.